Improving flexibility is often the very first thing that we work on with our clients. If you're lacking the flexibility to get into our basic training positions, like a deep squat or a deadlift, it doesn't matter how much advice you're given on technique, you will not be able to perform the movements correctly because your body is not able to get into the positions that are required. Now, getting started with a flexibility routine can also seem daunting if you're very inflexible, because most flexibility training requires some level of flexibility to start with. So this video is made with complete beginners in mind. You are going to need two pieces of equipment that are going to aid you in making all of the stretches more manageable, no matter how inflexible you may be. So the two things we're going to need, first and foremost, we're going to need yoga blocks. This is a must-have purchase if you're serious about getting flexible. If you don't have a pair already, you can get these from Amazon, Walmart, pretty much any store that sells basic fitness equipment will have yoga blocks, and they're relatively cheap. Fantastic tool if you don't already have them and you want something that can kind of work in its place. For this video, something that is 2 to 3 inches in height, somewhat firm that you can sit on. So maybe a hard pillow, maybe a stack of textbooks, anything like that. We're mostly going to use it to sit on. The second thing you're going to need is some sort of fabric, maybe a towel, a strap of rope, anything that you can use to hook around a foot like so, to use as leverage. Today, I'm gonna use a standard bath towel just to demonstrate we don't need fancy equipment. So these two things are fantastic. With that, let's get into it. We're gonna be working 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds of time to transition between the movements. I'm gonna give you tons and tons of coaching to make sure that you know exactly how to perform the movements correctly and how to make adjustments based on certain lacking flexibility. So without further ado, let's dive in. So as we do our stretching today, try to find a position that is about a 7 out of 10 in discomfort, enough that there is discomfort, but you can breathe through it and not fidget and move around. Less is more when it comes to flexibility. Try not to push so hard that you have to hold your breath, fidget, or move around and readjust. Find something that's uncomfortable, but not so uncomfortable that you can't hold it. We're starting today in the hands and knees position with a cat and cow. So we're gonna round the back and exhale as you round. And then arch the back and inhale. We're just working on all 3 motions of the spine to start us out. So right now we're working on flexion and extension. Then we're gonna go side to side, and then we're gonna rotate. I always like starting with a warm up of the spine. I find it very calming and gets you in the headspace to work on some flexibility. And we're gonna do side to side. So from this same position, we're just gonna turn our body into a C shape to the side and then a C shape to the other side. So look over the shoulder as you turn. So we're gonna turn to the side, look over the shoulder, and then turn to the side and look over the shoulder. So we're gonna warm up all the parts of the spine, the flexion, extension, the side flexion, and rotation. So we're moving to some T-spine rotation. So again, from this hands and knees position, we're gonna take the left arm up to the sky and rotate the spine, then bring the arm under the other arm and put the back of the shoulder on the floor. And we're just gonna go back and forth. Some gentle rotation. These are great movements to do before bed, as they will kind of get you ready for sleep. They calm the nervous system and get you ready to be a little bit more relaxed. So let's go ahead and do the other side. So this time the right hand goes up to the sky and then right shoulder down on the floor. Here we go. All right, so come on down, have a seat on the bum. You're gonna bring your hips open to a 90 degree, have your knees bent roughly 90 degrees, and use your hands behind you. So sit as upright as you're capable of. For these, it's not super important. When you're more upright, it's harder. When you're leaned further back, it's a bit easier, but we're just trying to get the hips loosened. So just gently rock back and forth. These are great before any physical activity because they loosen the hips up nicely. So we're gonna go to our seated hamstring circles. So if you can't sit fully upright without your tailbone off the floor, this is where you can use your block under your bum, like so, to help you get more upright. So we're gonna bring the arms forward and up. Again, arms along the side of the legs, forward and up. Practicing pressing the thighs straight and up. Try to keep active in the quads while you're doing your stretching. So it's better to look like this, but have the thighs flexed than to go forward far with the thighs relaxed. So very important to keep them nice and tight. So we're gonna start by warming up the ankles. So this is our first use of our towel. We're gonna use this to tie the feet together. So this is a stretch that's important to keep the ankles together. So take the towel, tie it around the ankles, and hold the heels together. Then you're gonna sit right down with all of your body weight on your feet. Now this is a really tough position, so if you're having troubles with it, and we're gonna be here for 40 seconds, if it bothers the ankle or the quads, you can take your yoga block or something and put it under your bum and sit on the block instead. That'll alleviate some pressure. Another option is to take your pillow, if you don't have the blocks, and put the pillow down between the hamstring and the calf, and you can sit on that, okay? That's gonna reduce the pressure. We start with the feet and work our way up the leg so that we can get the best hamstring stretch that we can. That's time. So next up, we're gonna sit on the toes. So same type of position, this time curl all 5 toes under, including the baby one, and you're gonna sit your body weight down on your heels. Now, if you have your blocks handy, there's 2 ways we can make this one easier. This is very tough on the feet, very great for opening up the back of the leg, however. So you can either use your blocks and hold yourself up to alleviate the pressure, or just like on the last one, sit on the block like so, to take the pressure off. All right, so we're gonna move into an ankle stretch. So bring the foot flat on the floor like so, and you're gonna use your body weight on your knee to stretch the knee forward. You're gonna feel a stretch in the bottom of the ankle. Now, if getting into this position is a challenge, you can use a block to alleviate the pressure, and that way you can lean your body weight forward. So sitting on the block is great. You're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch in the ankle. Make sure this heel stays on the ground and just lean your body weight into it to increase the stretch. And we're gonna move into the other side. So same thing, this time on the other leg. Foot is gonna be flat, and we're using your body weight on the knee to push the knee forward. Feel the stretch in the lower part of the ankle. Again, if you have troubles even getting into the position, use the block to sit on. That way you can lean your body weight further into the stretch. Try to keep the heel down on the floor. If you're very inflexible and your knee is really far back and you're not feeling a stretch, you can use something weighted on your knee to force it forward. That's how I had to start with it. But ideally, we're using the body weight, feeling the stretch low in the ankle. We're going to be moving into a standing calf stretch next. And we're going to use our blocks for this. So come on up to standing, and we're going to put the toe up on the block. Make sure the ball of the foot is on the block. We're gonna straighten the leg, so make sure the leg is nice and straight and bend forward. If you're not able to touch the toes, no problem. We use the other block or anything. You could use a chair and go whatever height you need to be able to maintain complete straightness in the leg, and then fold forward. We're gonna feel this high up in the calf muscle and behind the knee. We wanna prioritize staying as long in the spine as you can. And as you breathe in, you can come off of the stretch. And as you exhale, go deeper into the stretch. Try and prioritize straightness in the back. We go ahead and switch sides here. Again, if you cannot reach the floor, no problem. Grab yourself a second block. You can put a chair in front of you, anything that's going to reduce how far you have to bend and support you. But we're gonna have right foot on the block, actively pressing this right knee straight, and fold forward as far as you can go, keeping the back nice and tight. And right after this, we're going into a standing forward fold, actively pressing that thigh straight. And remember, bringing this stretch to about a 7 out of 10, something that you can comfortably hold, but with a little bit of discomfort, but ideally no fidgeting. And we're gonna move into a standing pike stretch. So keep the feet together, and then we're gonna do a forward fold. Feet together, press the knees straight, and put as much body weight into your toes as you can without lifting your heels. If you're unable to reach the floor, use the blocks or something to elevate how far you have to go. And then over time, as you get more flexible, we can start reaching toward the floor. It's better to prioritize the legs being straight and the back being flat, so that you can get used to trying to fold from the hip joint and not from the upper back. It does take some time to get the feel of it, but when you do, you'll unlock a huge level of flexibility. And again, put your weight in your toes without lifting your heels. Okay, so we're gonna move into our first upper body stretch called the puppy dog. So come on down to the knees, and you're gonna put the arms far in front. So the goal here is to be bending the spine backward. Keep the knees over top of the hips. The most common fault for this is pushing the bum back. We wanna keep the bum forward and bring the chest down toward the floor. If this bothers your shoulder, you can go from the elbows. So keep the elbows on the floor. If it feels okay, it's better to go from the hands. And look forward, and you're trying to bring the chest down to the floor and bend the spine backward. Up next, we're gonna go into a shoulder stretch. So we're gonna lie on the stomach. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So let's lie on the stomach. I'm gonna have my back to the camera here. We're gonna do the left arm first. Lie on your stomach with your arms out to a T. Keep your left shoulder on the ground and look to the right. The great thing about this stretch is it's an all level stretch. There's no need for adjustments. And then from here, you're gonna roll your body toward the left arm, and you can use your right hand on the floor as leverage to push you into the stretch. You should feel this in the shoulder and a little bit in the chest muscles. Just make sure that the left shoulder stays touching the floor and that you're rotating your body backward, trying to roll over on the shoulder. And we're just gonna switch sides, so right arm out straight. Let's keep the right shoulder on the floor. Turn the head to the left and then roll onto that shoulder. Make sure your towel is handy or your strap. We're gonna move into an aptly scratch stretch next. All right, so grab your towel. We're gonna do an aptly scratch stretch. So we're gonna take the left arm overhead and dangle the towel down. Then take your right arm up and grab as close together as you can. And we're gonna use that as a stretch. The goal is to eventually just interlace the fingers, but use the towel, and just as the stretch goes on, inch your hands closer and closer together, reaching down the back with the left arm and up the back with the right arm. This is a great stretch for shoulder rotation. And just keep inching your hands closer together until you feel like they can interlace. You're gonna probably mostly feel this stretch on the right shoulder. We're gonna go ahead and switch. This time, grab the towel in the right hand, dangle it down the back, and then reach up with the left. And grab as close together as you can. You're probably gonna notice that one side is noticeably more flexible than the other. That's really common in this stretch. You're usually more flexible with your dominant arm. So the dominant arm, when it's on the bottom, can reach further up the back. It's just part of having a dominant arm. There's nothing wrong with it as long as the imbalance is not too crazy, like more than 10%, then you're fine. All right, so we're gonna move into a half hero pose. So we wanna have the one knee tucked in to the side of the body with both butt bones on the floor. If you can't get into this position, it's time to sit on a block to elevate and alleviate the stretch. Sit on as many blocks as you need to get the shin flat. Once you're in position, you can lean back, leaving the shin on the floor, feeling a stretch through the thigh. Very common to also feel this in the ankle. Either one is fine, it'll improve with time. We do need ankle flexibility too, so you don't have to just work on the quad with this one. In the high end, you want to be able to have both butt bones on the floor and then lie all the way back with this shin down to the ground. That's what you're working toward with this one. And we'll go ahead and switch sides. So again, we want the shin flat to the floor. Use a block under the bum if you need, and the other leg is out in front. And we are stretching the right side thigh muscle, the quadricep. And lean back. After this, we're moving into a kneeling position in a kneeling quad stretch. Have both a block and a towel handy for this one. This one's very tough. So we're going to be in a kneeling position with the right leg forward. And you can use your block for help, but we're going to try and have the left hand on the block. Right hand is going to reach back and grab your foot. If you can't reach the foot, this is where a towel comes in handy. We're gonna wrap the towel around the foot and pull up on the towel like so. So we wanna bring the heel as close to the bum as you can, okay, using the towel around the foot, and then leaning forward. In the high end, you wanna be able to get the heel right to the bum with the hip forward, feeling a very intense stretch in the quad. Once you're good at these, we keep the heel on the bum and start working the hip down toward the floor. It's okay to be back here. That's totally fine. That's the level that you're at. If you just keep practicing, you will improve. Let's switch sides. So this time, left leg is going to be forward. Right leg will be back. We put the right hand on the block, and then the left hand reaches back to grab the foot. If you need to use your towel or your strap, go ahead now. I'm going to keep it off for this one. So again, try to bring the heel to the bum without pushing the hips back. If you need to push the hips back to make contact, that's fine. Just start working your way forward over time. So we've got a great side stretch and hamstring stretch coming up next. So we're going to sit in a half hurdler position with one leg bent and one leg out to the side. If you can't sit upright and your tailbone is on the floor, sit on a block. We're going to take the towel, wrap it around that straight leg. First priority is keeping the leg straight. Then we're gonna hold with the right hand and lean into the stretch, like so. So using the towel as leverage, lean into the stretch, like so. And you'll feel the stretch on the right side of your body. The goal is to eventually be able to touch the foot and rotate the body. This is one I'm personally very far from. As an Olympic weightlifter, my low back, very, very tight. But it's forever a work in progress. So let's go ahead and switch sides. This time right leg out to the side, left leg is bent. And wrap that towel around the foot, and then reach overhead so that we're stretching the side of the body. You can come up as high as you need to feel the stretch. You can also use your bottom arm as leverage to rotate the body and feel that stretch through the side. All right, we've got a butterfly stretch up next. So we're gonna bring the bottoms of the feet together as close to your body as you can. If you cannot sit up straight again and your tailbone is on the floor, just put the block under your bum to elevate you. It'll give you a better position, like so. Hold the feet and we're gonna actively pull the knees out and down toward the floor, sitting as upright as possible. Using a block is a great way to improve your stretching if your back is rounded in these positions, because it allows you to sit upright and use your body weight to increase the stretch. And our final movement is a seated pancake. So again, we're gonna sit legs out wide, and if you are not able to sit upright, grab your block, put it under your bum, use as many blocks as you need, bring your legs as wide as you can, and then from here, we're gonna lean forward. If you have a really hard time leaning forward, let's say you can't reach the floor, you're rounded, you can use something under you as leverage to help, or something to reach for. Make sure that the toes point up at the sky and aren't turning in, and actively push the knees into the ground, keeping them as straight as you can, working on getting the back nice and flat as we bend into this stretch. This is our last stretch of the day. You can do this daily for best results. And that's it. Excellent work today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you aren't already subscribed, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We post new workouts every week on Thursdays and Sundays, often body weight focused, usually mobility and flexibility with some HIIT and body weight strength training involved as well. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Have a great day.